Hey guys! So this is just a quick review that I felt like doing because I realised that I don't really review a lot of new stuff. So I thought I should do some newer movies from like this year, last year, a couple of years. So we're going to be reviewing Mama today because I recently saw this and it blew me away. So Mama came out, I think it was around January, and it centres on a ghostly entity following a couple of young girls to their new home. Now, that's kind of vague. So basically the film opens with a man called Jeffrey Desange, and he's just killed a couple of his co-workers. We don't see that, it's off screen, but he's basically gone back to his house, kills his wife, and he's got two young daughters, Victoria and Lily. Lily's about 1.5, Victoria's 3. So he takes the two girls and he drives off in the snow because obviously he's just killed a bunch of people. I think it was something like a stock market crash type thing, a whole bunch of people went nuts. And he goes off a cliff in the car. Now, they're all okay, but when they get out, they're in the woods and they come across a cabin, and he basically takes the girls into the cabin. It's abandoned and he wants to kill them both, then himself, clearly. So he puts a gun to Victoria's head, and then we see a shadowy figure pull him away and kill him. Now, this is not a spoiler. This is literally the first 5 minutes of the movie, and that's how it sets up the rest of the movie. So we jump to 5 years later, and their uncle Lucas has been looking for the girls and obviously for his brother for the last 5 years. He's got a girlfriend called Annabelle who's in a rock band. Now, she supports him even though they're very poor because he spent all of his money looking for the girls, hiring investigators, etc, etc. But she has literally no maternal instinct, and that's kind of her thing in the movies, that she doesn't want kids, she hates kids, blah blah blah. So it comes across that he's hired a couple of guys and they've been looking for the girls for a really long time, and they're like, oh yeah, don't worry, we're going to check sector whatever next. They come across the cabin finally. Well, first they come across the car and then they come across the cabin. So they find the two girls still alive, and they are feral. I mean, they're covered head to toe in just black grime. They've obviously not, you know, they were too young, they couldn't take care of themselves. And they are like animals. So then we jump from that scene to about, I think it's something like 3 or 4, 5 months later. We see sort of a montage of clips from videos that have been taken of them in the like the hospital where they've been sort of trying to rehabilitate the girls. Obviously Lily can't really speak very well. She wasn't old enough to speak properly when she was lost. Victoria's the only one that knows how to speak. So we see sort of video of the girls starting to walk upright again, obviously cleaned up, wearing clothes, and, you know, like trying to interact with them and stop them from, like, they eat like animals and everything. So Lucas and Annabelle are then introduced to the girls, and he makes a connection with Victoria by giving her a pair of glasses because obviously she needed glasses, she couldn't see very well, and she remembers that she needed her glasses, so she sort of trusts him a little bit. And then we jump to a few months later again, I think, and their other aunt, aunt, I think was the wife's sister. She wants custody of the girls. Lucas and Annabelle want custody of the girls. Eventually Lucas and Annabelle win. So they all set up house, and the girls go home with them. Victoria at this point is just like a normal girl. She's about 10 at this point. No, obviously about 8 at this point, and she was 3 when she was taken. Lily, however, is still sort of running around on all fours. She can't speak very well, but they're okay. It is at this point when they get to the house that we then realise that the story that they've been telling of what's happened to them since obviously their dad took them away might have some credibility to it. They, of course, have been telling the doctors that there is someone called Mama that's been looking after them. Nobody believes them. They all think they're just, you know, it's a figment of their imagination, you know. They've created her because they needed to take care of themselves. But obviously, as we know, if we're going to watch the movie, I think it's pretty obvious that there is an actual ghost called Mama. Obviously, she's not really called Mama, but there is a ghost. And she has followed the girls to their new suburban house, and she is so bloody jealous, it's not even funny. So the girls continue to interact with Mama, unbeknownst to Annabelle and Lucas. Lucas gets into an accident pretty early on in the movie, and he's kind of over in the hospital. We cut back to him every now and again. But it's basically Annabelle that then has to raise the girls. So over the course, I don't really know the time period of the whole movie, but for the rest, I think it's the next few weeks, basically. the ghostly occurrences happen more and more. The girls make more references to her. She then starts to believe them and realise there is something wrong. The Doctor also does his own little investigation off screen. We do see him every now and again. And I won't give away the twist, and I won't give away who or what Mama really is. But I think the backstory for Mama was amazing, because they do an entire investigation in the movie onto what the girls could be talking about, who they could be talking about, where did it come from, blah blah blah. How did they stop it eventually? The effects in this movie are great. There's a whole bunch of deaths that are awesome. The Mama character, when you do see her, is freaking scary. Okay, I mean, like, really fucking scary. And it's got a little bit of a Ring type feel to it. And it's got a bit of a Japanese horror movie type thing. Some of the ways that the ghost introduces itself into a scene, I thought was very Japanese style-y. There is one particular scene when the ghost comes through the floorboard, and you only see this part of the head going across the floor, and it freaked the hell out of me. Yeah, so I won't give away the ending as well, but obviously everything escalates to the point where they have to confront this entity to save the girls, because the Mama character does not want these girls to be anywhere else but with her. So obviously things escalate and get worse. There's some killings, there's a lot of scares, and the climax of the movie is freaking awesome. It stayed with me for days. It's a very sad ending. It's a very, very good ending, but it is really sad, and it really did stay with me for a while. My boyfriend was watching it and he fell asleep, and I was really pissed off because I was almost crying at the end and he didn't have a clue what I was crying about. And I just, oh man, really good ending. Definitely go see this movie. It's a really good standout movie. I think it's probably the best movie that came out this year. I haven't seen Carrie yet, but yeah, definitely go and see this movie. The acting from the kids is amazing. The pros of this movie, the entire backstory of Mama, the entire plot of this movie, all the acting in it and the special effects, everything is a pro. The only con I can think of was that I think Annabelle wasn't as maternal as she should have been. She gradually gets more and more maternal as the movie goes on. That's kind of the point, is that Mama starts getting very jealous of her. She still kind of was a bit, you know, distant all the way through, right until the end. But that's the only con I've got, and I don't think anyone cares. So, yeah. So that was Mama, came out this year. How much did they make that for? They spent 15 million on that, and it grossed 150 million. I call that a pretty big fucking success. Bye, guys.